Hi there. I wanted to do a video kind of to follow up on the short that I did about feeling stuck. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everyone's responses on how they deal with it. And it seems like it's such a common experience with neurodivergence, and there were some really good suggestions. The main suggestion, I think, was just to not feel bad about it happening to you, and to kind of lean into it, to let yourself rest, and to celebrate the small victories. And that's what I intend to do, to just kind of lean into it. Because I looked back through my video journals for the past two Decembers. This will be the third that this has happened. And it's all been since my second divorce that it's really been noticeable, but that's also, since burnout, and that since my dogs passed away. And so there's a lot of things that happened. But I think that the overall common element that I've said every year on my video journals, my private journals, is that I feel like I'm going into hibernation mode. And we as humans tend to forget that we're animals. And plenty of animals go into hibernation, and I'm sure bears don't guilt themselves about needing to do that. And animals of different types have different physical responses to the seasonal changes, and it's just natural. It's an evolutionary thing. And so if I try to look at it from that perspective, going into hibernation mode is really what it feels like. But I feel like an animal, I said this to one of the commenters on that video, like I feel like an animal that's trying to go into hibernation but keeps getting forced out of its den. And I don't have the luxury of going into full hibernation mode from now until spring. So I'm my sole support. I'm financially independent. I don't have anyone that I can rely on to do things for me. And, I have to pay all the bills myself and feed myself and everything. So I don't have the luxury of just shutting down for the whole winter. I wish I did, but I can allow myself to rest without feeling guilty. And I think it's more around other people somehow, kind of. It's not them necessarily making me feel guilty in every case, but I guess I feel guilty that I need to spend time with people, or I feel guilty for, like people, because some people do, in fact, judge other people for not being productive, or, productive by their definition of productive. And productive for me is just getting my basic things done, like showing up for work and doing my job. And when I'm at my home, doing dishes and laundry are my primary concerns. That's the adult version of the never-ending story right there. So I just need to allow myself to rest and go into hibernation, a semi-hibernation mode, and just rest. And there are a lot of things I think that kind of contributed to me feeling a little burnout this year. recently I've been doing work on my house. It's not a glamorous house. It used to be someone's hunting slash fishing cabin, and then it was converted to like a full-time residence, but it's still just, it's rustic, I guess I could say. But my boyfriend and I decided we could tackle it, like there was one side where the siding needed to be replaced, just one end of the house. We could do that. We're not professional carpenters by any means, but we built an overland camper together, so why not? So we did that, and it took a while because it was weather contingent and also contingent upon my work schedule and his work schedule. He's self-employed, so his, sometimes is more flexible. But just having all of those tools and stuff around, and like the old stuff that we took off the house and the lumber and stuff that we're putting onto the house, or materials, it was so much clutter, and it was really bothering me to walk into my living room and see it looking like a hardware store. And hardware store aesthetic is fine, when you're walking into a hardware retailer, but it's just not the look that I want to go for. And it was so much clutter, it wasn't organized, and so it was really bothering me. But it's finished, but I still like the energy and the stress of that, the energy spent and not recovered, and then the stress still contributed, I think, to feeling very stuck. Like, having a bunch of stuff in your living room, if you want to just take time to rest and relax and read or play video games or do some artwork or something, but it's full of tools that can't be out in the weather, like an air compressor and a skill saw and compound miter saw and stuff like that. All of that stuff up in your living room in toolboxes. It's kind of, the clutter is distracting. But also, I hurt my knee when I went to Utah this year, so that I didn't go to the doctor because I can still walk on it just fine. It's just deformed. I was waiting for the big knot to go away, and it never went away. It's still there. So I don't know what I did to my knee, but I knew that, like, it hurt at first. I could walk on it, but it hurt. And so I knew I shouldn't run on it. So I haven't been able to run since October. And that's something that I usually kind of depend on to burn off some excess energy, which, can be used. Like, I swear, if I don't run, that excess energy sometimes gets converted into anxiety. And so, which I haven't had a terrible time with, and I start feeling more tired. It's very counterintuitive, but the more I run, the less tired I am. So there's that. And just the general time of the year, it being the time of the year where I'm experiencing lots of sensory issues, because, the holidays come with a full set of specialized sensory bombardment that you don't experience the rest of the year. And then there's social pressure, lots of pressure surrounding the holidays. And my birthday and both my brothers' birthdays are all in December, so that's extra pressure. And it's, been a lifetime of kind of not, yeah. So it's kind of something that I'm used to, but it's still not pleasant to just deal with all that pressure. And um, the sensory issues I have with winter clothing. Like, I prefer winter clothing. Like, I prefer the feeling of winter fabrics and stuff like that, and being covered. I prefer that to summer clothes, and I prefer the feeling of winter weather, just when it's like a dry cold, as compared to the hot, humid summers that we have here. And so, but since I have circulatory issues, I have to kind of bundle up and layer up when it's really cold out. Today it's in the high 50s, so it's not terrible. But anytime it gets close to freezing, or if it's damp and cold, then I have to bundle up in layers, and I get claustrophobic feeling. That's one thing I should have added to my fears list. I have slight claustrophobia, and I can start feeling claustrophobic in clothes, where I just want to start ripping off scarves and hats and coats and vests and everything like that. I'm just like, and if I just want to run into a store, then it's like hot car, cold outside, hot store, cold outside, hot car. It's, I don't do well with those transitions. And it's, I guess, more of a relief in the summertime when you're going through those kind of transitions. But yeah, those kinds of things are contributors to me feeling a little more down in the wintertime. But I've decided that I'm going to try to just give myself the rest that I need, because the last few years, I looked over my journals to see what I did about it the last few years, and I survived. So, but surviving isn't always thriving. So I knew that I didn't want to do the same exact thing that I did the last few years, because it wasn't good. I had lots of, I call them neurological events, because meltdown seems, I don't know, unflattering. It's like, it doesn't seem like the best word, the best description. But that's what I'm talking about. It's a generalized term people use, so that's what I mean. But I had several neurological events where I would, feel all these, I feel it coming on. And so that's good. It gives me a little prior notice that I need to get somewhere where I can be alone and turn off all of the sensory input. And usually I'm able to do that, but I had several of those events last year and the year before, more so during the fall and winter time. And I think it's about to start raining. Oh my gosh. Felt a couple of drops. But anyway, I'll try to wrap it up. But I felt so overwhelmed, and I kept pushing myself, because I thought there was something wrong with the way I was feeling, that I should want to socialize, I should want to, and this is mostly before my diagnosis. I was diagnosed a year ago, almost exactly. So, and so I was trying to push myself to do the things that people, pressure you to do, and also to tolerate things, in the environment that my nervous system just can't tolerate. And it's not because of any sort of just personality flaw. It's a physical neurological reaction, but I didn't realize that at the time. And I have been told that overreacting to, or over responding to things in the environment and stuff like that. So I tried to just be a little trooper and put up with it. And now I'm not going to do that. So last year I was trying to push myself to hang out with my boyfriend at his house because he's self-employed and he works at his house. And so, I thought that it'd be doing him a favor to go hang out with him there. That way he didn't have to, stop doing his work in order to hang out. But the environmental conditions he needs in order to do his work are exactly the opposite of what my physical needs are. I can't handle bright lights, loud noises, and his house is always cold in the wintertime. He's even noticed it, and he's noticed that it's cold until you keep running the thermostat up, and then suddenly it's hot. There's no in between. And so it's easier for me to regulate my environmental conditions at home, from lights, sounds, smells, and the temperature and all of those things. Temperature is just such a sensory thing all on its own. And I do notice that when I'm cold, I feel sad. And, I start to feel really depressed if I'm cold for prolonged periods of time. So the more time that I can spend at home by my fire, the better off I'll be, I think. I'm going to try it and see. Also, I saw a quick video, and I don't remember who did it. It was a shorter TikTok or something, that someone was talking about skill regression being a result of us learning how to do things while masking, or that was a contributor to it. And that when learning how to do things again, or how to enjoy our hobbies again, we need to find out what hobbies and things that we want to do that are genuinely, authentically us. Because sometimes we'll even have hobbies that were masking hobbies, like, say, our parents, signed us up for a musical instrument lesson or sport or something, and we didn't even enjoy it, but it was something that was we were pushed into, and then started just kind of doing that out of habit. But at our core, may not have been something that we would have ever chosen to do if left to our own devices. So figuring out our hobbies that we genuinely like and learning how to do those without masking, those kinds of things, and skills that we acquired, also learning how to do those unmasked, that is something I'm looking into right now, because as I want to rest, I also just want to lay around and do something to kind of keep my brain from wandering off into places it doesn't need to go. And so, not completely avoiding things that need to be addressed, but, creating imaginary or maladaptive daydreaming, that kind of thing. So I'm replaying Skyrim. I love Skyrim. It's probably my favorite video game ever. And so I'm playing it again. And before, when I played it, I always ended up being a sneaky archer. I joined the companions. I, just always kind of did the same thing over and over. And I didn't do the Thieves Guild because I don't like being a thief, and I didn't join the Dark Brotherhood because I don't like being an assassin. So I went to the College of Winterhold and learned how to be a mage. So I'm going to be a battle mage this time for the first time, and I've had so many characters and never have been a battle mage. So that's what I am. And so playing it again from a different perspective is already, it's fun. It's giving me something to kind of look forward to. And Skyrim inspired me creatively before. And so I'm really looking forward to the ways in which it'll inspire me creatively this time around. So I have paintings. I don't know if you've watched a previous video where I feature my art, but I have paintings of Farkas and Vilkas from the companions. So maybe this time I'll be inspired to paint someone else, or even a scene from Skyrim, something like that. And it is such a beautiful game. And so this time around, poor Lydia, she gets so much abuse from Skyrim players. This time I decided I'm going to treat Lydia with the respect she deserves, not leave her at Bree's home munching on that same bread roll forever. So I built a house, and I got her to be the steward, and built a nice big kitchen with pastries and pies and stuff that she can sit around and eat, and hired a bard, and now she can like drink her mead while listening to the Dragonborn, rocking out to Dragonborn. But things that I enjoy doing that I might have felt guilty about doing, like because they weren't quote unquote productive in the past. Those are the things that I'm going to try to do and see if that helps, just make things a little more enjoyable and tolerable, I guess. So, I think that productivity is such a subjective term, like I have a friend that sometimes will say in such a way that I know it's kind of mean, you do anything productive today? And because I know she knows that I'm not productive, and she thinks I should be more productive. And so productive for me, just like I said, it can be just laundry and dishes. And it doesn't even have to be that. It can just be getting up and making myself a cup of coffee and making sure that I'm eating. And speaking of which, I was just like, I want to do some food that's just real easy. And my second husband and I used to do what we called, he came up with this term, king's meal, because he thought that this was the way medieval kings would probably eat. It's basically a charcuterie board. That's basically all there is to it, but I call it king's meal because of him starting to call it that and referring to it as that. But so I bought some cheeses and fruits and veggies and some plant-based deli slices, lentil sage deli slices, and some peach pepper jam and different crackers, so that I can have King's Meal while I'm playing Skyrim. And it was so surprisingly pleasant. And peach pepper jam is also just really good with breakfast burritos, if anybody wonders, because I was out of salsa. But anyway, I'm going to see how this goes, and I will report back if I have any kind of results that I notice. And since this is about my 1-year anniversary / birthday, I'll probably be doing a video on that pretty soon. And also I finished the Book of the Ancestors series by Mark Lawrence. So I will try to remember to do a bedtime story book report on that as well. So that sounds productive, right? Anyway, but no pressure, because that stuff is more fun. I guess I will be. Oh yeah, and I took today off. That's one thing I advise everyone to do if you have a chance to do it, is just take random days off without telling anyone except your boss. That's always advisable. So I took today off, and I did not tell a soul that I was taking the day off, because for some reason when you tell people that you're taking a day off, they think, oh, that's the best time for me to, have a phone call or to text them throughout the day, or, this is the day that is best for me to engage with this person on the day that they took off work. And I'd rather them just do that on the days that I work in the evening, but whatever. I'm like, it's already a bad day because I had to go to work. We might as well keep the tone. I'm just kidding. But so I'm out here enjoying the birds and the squirrels, I guess. Sure, why not? I won't count them out. I love all the little critters, and that's what I'm just planning on doing today. Is not much of anything except for going to my therapy appointment here in a little bit, and I guess that'll be it until next time.